Sometimes, even in the midst of chaos, the music is worth every cringeworthy moment. From the mosh pit mishaps to the bathroom nightmares, we're diving headfirst into the not-so-glamorous aspects of the rock festival experience. Brace yourselves, because we're about to count down the top 20 things at rock festivals that suck. Keep watching. 20. Bad openers. A bad start is the worst thing at a concert because it feels like the entire event is already a fail. So let's talk about concert openers. Attending a concert usually involves seeing one or two performers perform before the main event. For many years, touring performers have adhered to the tradition of having an opening act or opener. Why do opening performers play at concerts? Opening acts give music enthusiasts another reason to purchase tickets to a performance by adding to the entertainment value and creating potential for financial benefit and publicity for the headliners, promoters, venues, and opening acts themselves. If you're seeing a great band, shouldn't the opening be the same? You're paying great money to see them, so your time shouldn't be wasted. Since then, we've believed that it's time to fire the opening band after a certain amount of years together. Please choose a decent opener if you're one of the bands that still drags along the one or more. It gets worse when multiple bands open. Yes, we are aware that there are situations where the headlining act has no say over who opens for them on tour, but poor opening acts are just a waste of time. Imagine, while you wait for the main event to kick off, a random band takes the stage and starts playing music that sounds like the theme song from a crappy 80s movie. And the entire atmosphere contributes to it, not just the music. They're doing their best to get the crowd excited, but all they're getting is courteous applause and a sea of people looking at their watches. Some bands don't just have one opening act, they have several. It's like seeing a never-ending parade of mediocrity. You've thought about leaving at least 3 times, are worn out, and your feet hurt by the time the main performer finally hits the stage. 19. Money. You already know festivals cost a lot of money, like you'll skip eating meals type of expensive. It's like being in a capitalist jungle where you could lose money at every step. Do you want a water bottle? Thank you so much. That will cover the cost of a fine dining experience. Feeling hungry? Get ready to spend a lot of money on food that has likely been sitting in the sun for an extended period of time. Then there are the unstated expenses. The transportation, lodging, and the exorbitant parking fees. Everything adds up. Before you know it, a weekend has consumed your entire monthly budget. It's really no joke. You're not just spending for those tickets. At least you were able to watch your favorite band up close, right? Not to be overlooked are the artists. In order to compensate for the decline in music income brought about by the digital streaming revolution, they have raised their artist fees dramatically. The ticket costs then? They're paying for more than just security and porta-potties. They're also covering the cost of that incredible guitar solo you'll be raving about for weeks. Yes, attending festivals may really empty your wallet. Maybe ask yourself first, is this really worth that amount of money? 18. The waiting. If you're going to attend a rock festival, you best believe you're going to see so many bands live. One of the many drawbacks of music festivals is having to wait through a plethora of smaller artists until your favorite takes the stage. You have to stand here for 6 hours and listen to a bunch of nobodies before you can hear the headliner. Perhaps a new band that you'll enjoy but haven't heard of before will emerge. Hopefully. This is similar to a test of musical stamina. You find yourself obliged to nod along to an experimental jazz fusion set by an indie band while your feet and your back hurt. And just when you think it's ended, a different, unidentified band plays. The circle of musical mediocrity never ends. The worst part of it all? Not even escape is an option. You run the risk of losing your well-earned place in the crowd if you try to take a break. You're stuck there, hoping for a cover song that sounds good, or at least a miracle. But no, it's just a succession of unmemorable songs. Yes, attending music festivals may truly try your patience. However, when your beloved band eventually hits the stage and the opening notes of your beloved song play, it might be all worth it. But most of the time, it isn't. 17. Sunburn. How long do rock festivals last? 10 hours? The whole day? Surviving a rock festival in the blazing sun is like a battle against the elements. The festival day may stretch for 10 long hours or even the entire day. You're out there under the scorching sun waiting for your favorite band, getting bumped around in mosh pits, and feeling like you're gearing up for a sunburn war. It's like being in a reality show where the challenges include dodging crowd surfers, avoiding sunburn, and staying hydrated. Sunscreen becomes your shield, but the relentless heat and constant sweating can defeat even the thickest layer. And let's not forget the sunscreen's escape to your eyes, turning the world into a painful, blurry mess. Then there's the festival fashion struggle. That cool black band tee that looked great in the morning mirror, it's now soaking up the sunlight and turning you into a walking roasted chicken. And those stylish new boots meant for stomping to the music? They transform into personal foot ovens. It's safe to say surviving a festival in the sun is no walk in the park. 16. Non-stop playing. Are there any breaks during rock festivals, or is that just a waste of money? There are moments when the band must end a song and move on. Enjoy yourself. It's a live performance. Show off your skills. But if you can't support it with facts, then remove the extra notes and only play what you and the audience know. Rock festivals are all about the music, but some bands seem to forget that songs have an end. They get caught up in the moment, and what should be a 3-minute song turns into a 15-minute jam session, and not in a good way. It's cool to show off your musical skills, but there's a time and a place for everything. We came for the tunes, not a marathon guitar solo. It feels like they're making it all about them, forgetting about the audience. Extended performances not only affect the music, but also the overall atmosphere. One moment you're dancing and singing along, and the next you're checking your watch, figuring out when to sneak away for a bathroom break. Remember, it's a concert, not a test of endurance. When non-jam bands try to turn into jam bands, it can drag the evening down and make you want to leave. After all, we're here for a good time, not a never-ending musical journey. 15. Talkative singers. Let us tell you a story. This is related to the last one we talked about, and it doesn't get any better. A few years ago, some people watched Nickelback, and it might have been a good show. They performed admirably, and they were having fun. However, fans cried, "Just play the songs," since vocalist Chad Kroeger talked for far too long in between songs, or something like that. Although I gave them a positive assessment, Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day likewise refused to remain silent and spoil their night in Portland a few years ago. Having a talkative singer at a concert can be a real buzzkill. You're all hyped up, waiting to hear your favorite songs live, and suddenly the lead singer decides to turn into a stand-up comedian or a motivational speaker. It's like, dude, just sing the songs, please. Some musicians seem to be at TED Talks rather than rock concerts. The punk rock hits were the reason we came. We didn't purchase tickets to hear a monologue. It's not just them, too. Some musicians take longer fiddling with their microphone stand than they do singing into it, or those who are adamant about providing a thorough history for each song. We understand that you compose the next song during an especially strenuous yoga retreat, but can we please just get to the music already? So here's a piece of advice for all you rock stars out there. Speak less and rock more. The drum fills, solos, and riffs are what draw us in. Put that little talk in your autobiography. 14. Time constraints. As we said earlier, music festivals end late. Have you ever imagined going to a concert on a nice Saturday afternoon? That would be nice. We weren't interested in staying out so late, even when it was fashionable to do so when we were younger. And as we became older, all we want is for the band to play their songs quickly, forget about the opening act, start on time, and get me home by 11 o'clock. The already terrible experience of battling traffic to get there, navigating the throng, and then driving home is made much worse by late start times that feature an opening band before the major act takes their time getting on stage. We dislike being late for anything, particularly events like concerts. We typically depart well in advance in order to allow for traffic and any other problems that can extend the arrival time. We usually arrive at the location with plenty of time to spare. An hour or two of waiting for showtime wears you out, but it's better early than late. The perfect concert would have minimal traffic, showing up shortly before the show begins, having no opening act, and the band playing great songs very quickly. Did you know that during a free performance at Alani Casino, Vince Neil of all people pretty much filled the bill? Fans arrived just minutes before he took the stage, of course, because they had decided to go at the last minute. But as the concert went on, they were pushed to the back and eventually encircled by a crowd of people. Choosers can't be beggars. 13. Late exit stage. Time is totally precious, we won't lie. But it can be important to have later start times to accommodate concert goers who have jobs and must commute to the event. Concerts that start later than planned can also be caused by late arrivals of fans or by people attempting to purchase a ticket at the last minute. There are many reasons why things start and end late. Fans aren't always the issue. Other factors like the band or artist not being on time might also cause delays. Have you heard about Madonna's ridiculous behavior? The iconic singer apparently started her gig at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn hours late. Concert goers were incensed after the 4-minute singer waited, well, a lot longer than 4 minutes to get ready. The 65-year-old Madonna finally took the stage at 11 p.m., nearly 3 hours after her planned start time, but not before her fans criticized the performer on social media for the postponed start. She's unlike other bands. Coldplay was a little bit behind schedule a few years back, but they made up for it. Many years ago, though, the Cult were way behind schedule. Fashionably late is something we can sort of accept, but we've never understood why bands would sometimes keep their fans waiting forever. What on earth are they doing backstage anyway? While the opening act is performing, get ready and hit the stage as soon as your roadies are finished. 12. Overpriced merch. We've talked about money before, yet this is something different. You'd always want to keep a memento whenever you attend a big event, especially if you paid big bucks for it. The limited edition merchandise, which can equal the GDP of a small nation, should not be overlooked. Or the festival hoodies, which cost as much as if they were made of wool from sheep. Finally, there are the bandanas. Those clothes, that mysteriously end up costing more than your monthly grocery budget. And just when you believe your shopping is over, you notice the food stands again. A piece of pizza, perhaps? Thank you very much. It will be the equivalent of a 3-course dinner at a fancy restaurant. Feeling peckish? You had best be prepared to part with your kidney for a bottle of water. Thus, yes, it can seem as though rock festivals exist only to extract the maximum amount of money from you. It's not just about the exorbitant prices, it's the psychological warfare waged through cunning marketing strategies. The allure of exclusive or limited edition merchandise preys on the fear of missing out, compelling you to splurge on items that, in the grand scheme of things, might only collect dust on your shelf. 11. The casual acquaintances. Navigating through the sea of faces at a festival can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack, especially if you're not keen on crowds. It's like everyone from your past and present decides to drop by for a chat, turning the festival grounds into a bustling reunion of casual acquaintances. This isn't something easy for introverts. Even the friendliest people tend to get tired. Sadly, everyone on the planet will show up at a festival, particularly if it's a large one and the marketing crew has done its job well. As a result, you will unavoidably run into a lot of acquaintances, which will result in a lot of pointless small talk, awkward sideways glances, and idle chatter. On day 1, it's enjoyable. On day 2, it's manageable. But by day 3, God help us. It's a little known truth that people used to sign up for these gatherings of the Lonely Hearts Club. All of them would meet in some club playing dick chick music, receive free Dayglow sticks as a reward of being a member, and then all logical discourse would be superfluous due to their social awkwardness. Because of the noise, they could feign to be deeply engaged in conversation without really saying anything significant, and act like you're dancing without really doing it. 10. Partygoers. We know that festivals are exciting, but you should still set limits. Some people like end seats. We also understand that if and when you are able to secure the last seats, you serve as the entryway to the outer world. Usually, we don't mind if someone wants to spend their hard-earned money on ostentatious food and drink or needs a toilet break. But what happens when the craving for drink after beer takes control and you find yourself taking how many potty breaks? Give it up already. Will you even remember the show after consuming so much alcohol? It's as if some people view attending a concert as a challenge to simultaneously test their liver and bladder. Like a yo-yo, they go up and down and come back each time carrying a new beer. And every few minutes you have to do this odd half-stand, half-squat thing to allow them past. There's the unavoidable consequences, the slurred sing-alongs, the tipsy stumbles, and the beer spills that leave the floor a sticky mess. Not to mention the enigma of how they may allegedly hear a song 1,000 times and still forget the words. So yes, the never-ending cycle of drinking and using the restroom can really ruin a performance. Let's keep the focus on the music, not the bar and bathroom marathon. 9. Long travels. Once you conquer that, there's the quest for the perfect spot to set yourself up in the sea of people. You'll find yourself lugging chairs, blankets, and coolers through the festival grounds, hoping to secure a comfortable space. It's like a game of musical chairs, but with your belongings. And then, of course, there's the challenge of navigating through the massive crowd. It's a maze of people, tents, and music stages. You might accidentally bump into someone or get tangled in a web of folding chairs and picnic blankets. Patience becomes your friend as you weave your way through the lively chaos. But amidst all the challenges, there's a unique sense of camaraderie. Strangers become temporary neighbors, sharing laughs, stories, and maybe even sunscreen. The distant music gradually gets louder, building anticipation for the main event. Despite the hurdles, the shared experience and the joy of live music makes it all worthwhile. So if you're up for the adventure, rock festivals in the middle of nowhere might just become your favorite way to spend a weekend. 8. Work the next day. Eventually, you'll have to go back to your normal life after the festival. But how can you do so when they drain the life out of you? They should declare the days after concerts a holiday. The day after a concert can feel like facing the aftermath of a wild storm, especially when you have to go to work. It's as if the universe conspired against you, making the next day one of the worst in the work week. Other people frequently have to push themselves to leave the previous night's festivities behind and report for duty the next morning. Big-time festivals usually operate only on the theory of tremendous highs, so it's rather discouraging when you can't save your excitement for the next day in front of your disgruntled co-workers. One moment you're in the middle of a mosh pit full of people all dancing to the same beat. Next, you're sitting in a cubicle trying to recall how to do basic math while your head is still ringing from last night's encore. Not to mention the festival hangover. No, I'm not talking only about the alcohol. One can experience a particular kind of weariness after spending an entire day or weekend in a state of heightened exhilaration, surrounded by loud music and much louder people. There isn't enough coffee to cure this sensory hangover. Now imagine yourself locked at your desk, living through the incredible guitar solo from the final act, while a part of you is still at the festival. To put it mildly, the shift would be extremely hard for you. 7. It's a dust bowl out there. The dust situation at these festivals is no joke. Picture this. You're in the middle of nowhere, and the festival grounds are like a big dusty playground. People are walking all over, kicking up clouds of dust that cover everything. It's like a dust party, but not the fun kind. Your nose becomes the ultimate dust magnet. It's like a vacuum for dust particles, and soon you're breathing in more dust than fresh air. Breathing through your nose becomes a challenge, so you resort to breathing through your mouth, which means you end up swallowing a bunch of that pesky dust. And then there's the aftermath, the notorious dust tan. After the festival, you look in the mirror and it's like you've been dipped in a bag of flour. Dust clings to your skin, giving you a tan that's more dust than sun. But the dust doesn't stop there. You develop a dust cough that sticks around for days, making you sound like you've taken up a heavy smoking habit. The real kicker? The surprise discoveries of dust in the weirdest places. You'll find it in your phone's charging port, your belly button, and even your ears. Dealing with dust becomes a serious mission, turning the aftermath into a dusty treasure hunt. So if you're heading to a festival, be prepared to embrace the dust. It's definitely part of the experience. 6. Porta-potties. Ah yes, the worst one of them all. Are you familiar with what porta-potties are? If yes, then we feel sorry for you. It's the necessary evil that makes you appreciate the luxury of your own bathroom. When attending an outdoor festival on a hot summer's day, staying hydrated is essential. But all that water, or Budweiser, you chugged from your Camelback has to go somewhere. While visiting a music festival, waiting in line for a porta-potty is one of the most unpleasant but necessary experiences. You wait a very long time to experience the thrill of being confined between 4 plastic walls and surrounded by scents that will burn your nostrils. If it's not latching correctly, that gray triangular device will expose you to the outside world. Paper towels? We hope the power is with you. But if you drink water or 8 pints at a festival, it's a reality of life that you will eventually need to use them. But the worst part? The dreaded feeling of not having any hand sanitizer. You exit the porta-potty feeling like you've just completed a mission in a germy obstacle course. There are unusual people and strange smells along the lengthy, unpleasant journey that leads to the porta-potty. You pass some quite strange folks in line, and they're more cliche than a crop top and flower crown at one of these events. So next time you find yourself at a concert, spare a moment to appreciate your home bathroom, because nothing beats the comfort and cleanliness of your own throne. 5. Volume. This is one thing music festivals shouldn't be sorry about, but it doesn't mean they don't suck. Loud volumes at concerts can be a real headache, literally. While concerts are all about the music, sometimes it feels like the speakers are on a mission to test the limits of our eardrums. The loudness at music festivals is almost never right, so it doesn't matter if the band plays its songs well. What happens if you are close to the stage? For the following 3 to 6 days, you will be deaf. Sure, we expect concerts to be noisy, but when the volume reaches ear-piercing levels, it can turn the whole experience sour. It's like trying to enjoy a delicious meal when someone's shouting in your ear. Not exactly the recipe for a good time. At music festivals, you'll notice that the guys manning the booths are clueless about their job if you're not close to the performance. How come we can't hear the singer? Why is the bass drum all we can hear? Sound problems can ruin a music event experience entirely. The rapid, deafening feedback you experience transforms your eardrums into a combat zone. The uneven dispersion of sound is another issue. One minute the guitars are barely audible over the bass, and the next they are hammering home. It's also critical to pay attention to the anticipated sound delay. A moment later, the sound reaches you as you stand there watching the drummer pound the cymbals. It resembles seeing a poorly dubbed film. Every song instantly turns into an unwanted remix because there's that one speaker who's always a little too salty. 4. People. What do you expect from a big event with excited crowds? People can be tough sometimes. Crowds can be overwhelming. Pushy folks aren't much fun. And those who don't get personal space? Not great. Even bad fans can spoil a concert, no matter how awesome the main act is. Attendance at a festival is a key measure of its quality, so the more the better. Even if it's not particularly enticing, the idea can be frightening when a loud metal band is performing. Sometimes there's an infectious energy in a crowd that may be crippling. Some see mosh pits as places where individuals can push one another around as if they were trying to get in a match for professional wrestling. Then there are the gregarious people who believe that a superb guitar solo is the ideal occasion for a heated argument. The tall people standing straight in front of you also block your view of the stage. Alternatively, a lot of individuals don't really enjoy the live act because they've recorded the entire performance on their phones and are watching the event on a little screen. Naturally, there's also always that one individual who believes everyone else shares their passion despite having had a little too much to drink. Of course, there's also always one person who believes everyone else is equally engaged in their off-key sing-along because they've had a little too much to drink. People at festivals can be really bad. You need to be mentally ready for these events or else you're going to have the worst time. 3. Standers. Standing at concerts is a hot topic, and for some, it's a real pain in the neck, or more accurately, a pain in the view. There are no set rules for a concert. It's just that we believe proper etiquette should always be followed. When at a concert, the question is whether or not to stand. It's obvious that there are places in the venue where you must stand. Seats on the ground floor? Take a stand. Lower tier? Most likely stand. Bleeding nose? What's the purpose? You must, of course, stand if everyone else does, particularly if you wish to view the stage. However, you sabotage the musical experience when the majority of people stay seated and you feel the overpowering want to stand while everyone else chooses to sit. It is bothersome when people stand the entire performance, especially for extended periods of time. They block the view of others behind them when there is a significant height difference. This standing activity may cause physical pain to those who are standing, as well as to those who are close who may feel under pressure to stand as well. Safety may become a concern when there are a lot of people around, particularly if they are standing on chairs or other uneven surfaces. Standers can step on other people's personal space, especially if they are dancing or otherwise engaged in physical activity. Plus, some patrons may believe that standing is impolite to those who would prefer to sit and enjoy the event, particularly during slower songs or performances. After all, we're all here to enjoy the music, not play a game of guess what's happening on stage. Standing can be great, but being considerate of those behind you can make the concert experience better for everyone. 2. Screamers. Concerts are all about the noise, that's a given. But sometimes the noise isn't coming from the music itself, it's coming from the fans. You know, those folks who scream like they're auditioning for a screaming contest. Now, I get it, you're excited, but do you really need to let out a scream that could rival a rock star's guitar solo? Your true love isn't on stage, and they can't hear you over the music. There's this thing called concert etiquette. Save your vocal fireworks for the start and end of the show. Not every time the chorus hits. Believe it or not, all that screaming can mess with the concert vibe. It's like trying to enjoy a movie when someone's talking loudly right behind you. It's distracting and takes away from the whole experience. Plus, those screams can be more than just annoying. They can actually hurt. People with sensitive ears might feel real pain, and in some cases, it can lead to headaches or temporary hearing loss. So next time you're at a concert, by all means, cheer and clap, but maybe save the screams for the beginning and the grand finale. Your fellow concert goers will thank you, and you'll still get to enjoy the music without causing a ruckus. 1. Bad main act. Don't get your rock festival concert experience ruined. Having a bad main act at a rock festival is like having a balloon deflate at a birthday party. A real downer. You go through all the festival hassles, from traffic jams to questionable toilets, and then the band you've been eagerly waiting for turns out to be a letdown. It's not just about the music, it's the whole package, the vibe, the excitement, and the connection with the crowd. When the band plays off-key or too close to the microphone, it feels like the concert dream is slipping away. It's like ordering a gourmet meal, but finding out it's just a bland sandwich. Sure, everyone has off days, but as a fan, you expect a band to bring their A game. You've invested your money, time, and energy into this experience, and a lackluster performance can leave you feeling cheated. Bands, take note. Your fans are your biggest supporters. They're the ones who buy the tickets, dress up, and sing along. Stay true to them. Give them a show that leaves them buzzing with excitement, and make the concert an unforgettable experience. After all, live music is about creating moments that linger in the hearts of your fans. And that's a wrap. We hope you survive the cringe and chaos of our top 20 things at rock festivals that suck countdown. We want to hear from you. Share your own festival horror stories, or let us know if there's something we missed in the comments below. What's the worst thing you've endured at a rock festival? We can't wait to read your tales of survival. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching.